Another day, another proof of how GRAP-4 enforcement in Delhi exists only on paper. While you and I are doing our bit, abandoning our vehicles when they are not cleaner BS6, private buses are caught on camera, flouting all possible government norms. India Today's special investigation, this is round 2 of that, remember, exposes that polluting buses with no legal permission to operate are roaming freely on the capital streets. And the agencies tasked with enforcement to ensure that these things don't happen are nowhere to be seen. These are pollution buses roaming freely on the streets of the national capital when the common man is doing their bit. Take a look at this report for more.
Delhi has become a gas chamber. Stage 4 of the Graded Response Action Plan against pollution is in force, but on the ground, almost every rule is being violated openly. This is the Delhi-Noida border, and what you see here is not an isolated violation, but an open operation of illegal buses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and several more diesel buses lined up. Despite a ban on vehicles not meeting BS6 emission norms, these buses are openly picking up passengers, making multiple stops and preparing to leave Delhi. All of this is happening right under the watch of the Delhi Traffic Police, Transport Department, local police, the MCD and other enforcement agencies. For over 15 minutes, they remain parked in a long queue, waiting for the Noida entry to open at 9 p.m. before exiting the capital. Take a closer look at this bus. Registration number UP22 800875. Parked in Northeast Delhi. It is a diesel, Euro 3 or BS3 vehicle, clearly banned under current norms. Instead of being seized, heavy luggage is being loaded and the bus is allowed to operate, adding directly to Delhi's air pollution.
कौन सी है बस? डीजल है या सीएनजी है? डीजल है सीएनजी है? डीजल है। अच्छा ये बताओ, डीजल है, BS3 है तुम्हारी बस, मैंने कागज चेक किए हैं इसके। 8 साल पुरानी गाड़ी का है।
ये सर मुझे नहीं पता, ये उन्हें पता होगी।
Yet another UP38 802453 operating between Delhi and Sambhal. A 2017 diesel bus running without a valid Delhi permit.
परमिट है दिल्ली में चलने का? है?
ना।
कैसे चला रहे हो फिर इसे?
ऐसे चलाना है, दे लेके।
भाई कुछ नहीं कहता।
BS6 norms have been enforced since 2020. In Delhi, BS3 and BS4 diesel vehicles are banned. But on the ground, the reality is very different. These buses ply daily through different parts of the capital. Now look at another bus. Registration number UP17 804707. Its condition itself raises questions about its fitness. A diesel bus carrying passengers despite clear restrictions.
डीजल की गाड़ी है ये? तुम डीजल की गाड़ी दिल्ली में चला रहे हो?
खड़ी हुई है, चला नहीं रहे, लेके जाएंगे अपने घर के लिए।
कैसे लेके जाओगे?
कैसे लेके जाओगे?
चला के लेके जाओगे ना?
अब तक तो चल रही थी गाड़ियाँ।
कब तक चल रही थी?
आज से जब जैसे मान लो मना कर दिया डीजल गाड़ियाँ दिल्ली में नहीं आएंगी, तो अब फिर खड़ी हो जाएंगी जाकर।
पिछले 3 दिन से नहीं चल रही है।
हमने तो आज जैसे देखा न्यूज में, जो है देख रहे हैं न्यूज में, मैंने मना करा नहीं चल रही।
Bus after bus, unauthorized and polluting, operating freely, exposing serious gaps in GRAP-4 enforcement. The rules are clear. The violations are visible. The question is, who is allowing this? With Nitin Jain in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
They were laughing when our reporter went and confronted them and said, this is not allowed, how are you carrying it out? They laughed it out. That's how seriously enforcement is taken in the national capital. That's how seriously people are taking the Delhi police, the Transport Department, MCD, and several other authorities. But we took this expose to the political parties, showed it to them, asked them, what do you think should be done? These are some of the reactions.
अभी मैंने देखा एक स्टिंग जिसमें किस तरह से कमर्शियल व्हीकल दिल्ली के अंदर आ रही है और वो कह रहा है कि नहीं जी हमारी तो सेटिंग है, तो आप तो कड़े कदम उठा रहे हो, आप जितने कड़े कदम उठा रहे हैं उतना भ्रष्टाचार बढ़ रहा है और दिल्ली की जनता को प्रदूषण से राहत नहीं मिल रही है। कड़े कदम जो आप उठा रहे हैं उसका इम्प्लीमेंटेशन भी ग्राउंड पे होना चाहिए और अगर इम्प्लीमेंटेशन ग्राउंड पे नहीं होगा तो फिर आपके कड़े कदम ढाक के तीन बात है।
दुखद है और कहीं ना कहीं सरकार की ये फेलियर भी है। समस्याओं को पहले बढ़ाओ और फिर बढ़ाने के बाद ऐसा एक तुगलकी फरमान करो जिसके ऊपर फिर पीछे से चेक करने की भी जरूरत ना पड़े। आप देख रहे हैं GRAP-4 लगा हुआ है, आपकी अपनी सिंह की जो रिपोर्ट आई है, आपने GRAP-4 लगाया तो क्या उसको प्रॉपरली लागू हो पा रहा है, नहीं हो पा रहा है, वो किसकी जिम्मेदारी है? क्या वो सरकार की जिम्मेदारी नहीं है? समस्या का समाधान आप नहीं दे पा रहे हैं और कहीं ना कहीं इसका कारण ये भी है कि जो दिल्ली की खास तौर पे पब्लिक ट्रांसपोर्ट है वो पूरी तरीके से चरमरा चुकी है, उसकी तरफ ही सरकार लगातार उसको नजरअंदाज कर रही है।
Amit Bharadwaj now joins us for the very latest on this. Amit, you've seen the report. It's just baffling, right? That this chalta hai attitude, like there was a time when people used to do this, what we call is chori chippe. Now blatantly they are flouting norms. They're not scared. They're laughing in the face of our cameras to say, हाँ जी, तो क्या हुआ? I mean, there's one thing to say you do this with impunity, the other one to say that you have no fear of law at all. What exactly is the Delhi government saying to this?
Well, Sonal, the question are also from the Delhi government, from the adjoining cities as well, because this GRAP-4 restriction has been implemented not only in Delhi, but the adjoining cities of NCR as well. And there's a bigger question, which we have been talking about, the loopholes in implementation or rather non-implementation on the part of, there have been questions about it on the part of the adjoining cities of Delhi as well. And this particular SIT expose clearly shows that not only about Delhi, but the NCR cities also are facing a similar kind of problem, whether the authorities know about it or not. But now we have visuals and people on camera caught accepting as to how they are applying despite GRAP-4 restrictions, talking about some kind of setting also they have with the system. So that setting possibly is disturbing the setting of air quality in the national capital, because as we speak at this point in time, Sonal, through the day, we have seen severe air quality of, air quality index in the national capital. AQI was 414 this morning, and 30 out of 40 stations in the national capital were actually in severe category this morning. That raises an even bigger question and concern for the residents of Delhi. If GRAP-4 restrictions are not being implemented, why do people, crores of people living in Delhi NCR need to suffer? Back to you.
All right, Amit Bharadwaj there. Thank you so much for joining us. We really hope you're able to take this to the Delhi government, take this to the Delhi police as well, and try and understand where exactly is the failure. Are they simply just not serious about the issue at all? And we'll be taking up this matter with our guests as well. Joining us is Neoma Gupta, BJP spokesperson and lawyer. Also Anish, Gawande, national spokesperson of the NCP. Sharad Pawar is with us. But before I come to both of you, I want you to watch another report. I want you to pay some attention to what's happening in Mumbai, because it's not just a Delhi problem. Mumbai too is choking and authorities are being pulled up for their inaction. The Bombay High Court came down heavily on the BMC for for failing to ensure pollution control norms and restrictions. In a strong rebuke, the court also said that the right to health and the right to breathe clean air are fundamental rights, and it is a duty of civic officials to protect them. The High Court also flagged delayed action by BMC, observing that enforcement begins only after judicial intervention, which is the case almost across the country, isn't it? And it also slammed the existing pollution control measures. The judges said that they exist only on paper, with little or no implementation on the ground. Remember, all of this was said in Mumbai, but so true even for Delhi. However, it is important to note that this judgment came on a day when Mumbai's AQI is actually below 100. It's actually not bad. Look at those numbers. The ONR there we are flashing is about 68, others were about 78. It's still above the mark, but still under 100. And that's how strict the Bombay High Court has been. But let me take that question to Vidya, my colleague who joins us from Mumbai. Vidya, the last time we looked at the numbers of Mumbai AQI actually touching 300, 400, immediately we saw action. I remember speaking to you then, and you said that the court and the BMC, they have pushed out some stop work notices which have been sent out to largely construction sites, because that's the difference. In Delhi, it's largely vehicular pollution. In Mumbai, it's largely construction. And that helped. Somehow, the High Court, very rightly, is not very happy with these numbers as well. But what changed? How are we seeing the numbers sub 100 now? Is it purely weather or some action has been taken?
It certainly is mainly the changing weather conditions, the wind that blows in and out of the city. But of course, the BMC has taken some action. But as a committee that had been formed by the Bombay High Court noted, that the guidelines that are in place, especially say, for example, in the construction sites, they are in place on paper, but nothing is really implemented. And that really, that report was before the Bombay High Court, which was the reason why it pulled up the MPCB, the Maharashtra Pollution Control Board, the member secretary was called in personally. The BMC commissioner had to be personally called in and asked. The court very clearly asked him, how many times have you actually left office and taken surprise checks at construction sites?
Wow.
He said that it was done twice, but he didn't really remember the date, but it was done in November, and we are in mid-December. And that's one of the reasons why the court said that, you need to get out of the offices more, get onto the construction sites where there is flagrant violations that are happening. So certainly all these issues were considered when the Bombay High Court really pulled up both the authorities. And now they have to come back to the court tomorrow and say exactly what have they seen today after coming out of their offices and going to the construction sites.
All right, Vidya, thanks so much for that. But can I say that incredible interaction there at the court, asking direct questions to the commissioner, asking very direct, answers as well. This is exactly what's needed, but so sad that the judiciary has to sort of intervene. But also, for the moment, you are clearly breathing better air than I am here in Delhi, so enjoy that as long as that lasts. Thanks so much for joining us there. All right, let me go across to our guest now, and let me bring in Anish. Anish, you saw, I don't know what's happening in Mumbai, because, with weather, it's hard to say, but something right has been done.
Sonal, I'm very grateful to you for consistently highlighting this issue, not just now, but for the past several months. And as someone who has also been highlighting this since 2022, including when our alliance partners were in power in Delhi and in Maharashtra, I can tell you with certainty that it is unfortunate today that the courts have to step in where our civic authorities have failed. It seems absurd to me that we've elected governments today, because these governments do not kick into action unless the courts wrap them on the knuckles. Now look at Delhi. It's a city I've now been living in for the last 3 years. I'm from Mumbai, and I wish I were back in my own home city, because like you said, we'd be breathing cleaner air. But in a city like Delhi, when the AQI touches more than 600, the environment minister has the audacity to say that there is no link between pollution and any deaths. When you have a Lancet
MOS
report
environment
that says,
in the parliament, actually, yeah, but go ahead.
and the MOS minister in parliament, sorry, and he submits this to parliament as a written reply when there's a Lancet study that says 17 lakh people die every year because of air pollution, right? And I think the unfortunate part today is that even when measures are put in place, they seem to be a PR stunt. Your sting operation has highlighted that GRAP-4 measures, which were meant to be implemented in Delhi, are simply not being enforced. So I fail to understand what the government thinks is going to solve the problem in Delhi, because hiding from the problem, putting mist showers and sprinkling water on AQI monitors is not going to reduce the AQI.
Neoma, Gupta, do you want to respond to Anish over there? Clearly, Mumbai's done something to make it right, even if you can give a large part of that credit to the weather, but they seem to be on track. The commissioner is answering. What's happening in Delhi? Weak GRAP-4 implementation, a government which is in denial, with no winter plan.
Good evening, Sonal, and good evening to my fellow panelists. The sting operation you've shown right now has showed violations happening, which is concerning. However, violations, by some people does not mean a failure of policy. It means, I mean, by no measure does it mean like that. We are here, whatever sting operation you've shown, we are going to flag it and we are going to take steps because we are taking steps. Having said that, when you and your co-panelist, sorry, I don't know his name, I have the
Anish.
information. Anish, sir. Okay. So the enforcement data, which is in front of me right now, I'll share it with your colleague initially. We are doing inspections by the hour. Yes, sometimes things like this do happen. There's no, we will take action on it. It's non-negotiable. I mean, there are about 6,000 inspections which have happened just today when it comes to checking on multiple fronts, whether it comes to traffic, everything. We are doing our steps. So by turning around and saying that this government doesn't care is sort of belittling every intent of ours to make sure that pollution goes away. I can repeat to you the steps we are taking, whether it comes to working from home, giving electric heaters, like water sprinklers, dust suppression system, mist sprays, adding new
Okay. So
locations
I
for the
think Neoma
continuous
has missed the
ambient.
part one of the sting
Yeah.
operation. And I would
Yeah.
really urge my producers, I know it's short
Yeah.
notice, but let me urge them to put out
Yeah.
sting one. The first
The one-
SIT investigation that had happened,
Okay.
that everything that she's highlighting was flouted. Do we have those pictures? Can we play that up for Neoma to
We'll have-
see and then respond?
Sure.
Okay? And
Yeah.
because everything that you're talking about, from giving electric heaters, we got people on camera, not one, construction site, but
You know-
several others, where they said,
Okay.
nahi diya hai. We
Listen,
caught up
let
with
me assure
people
you-
on the road. Again, that was earlier, and that time your argument was that, oh, abhi to implement hua hai, there are teething
No,
issues,
that
it
was
takes
never
some
my
time.
argument. No, I'm
The
sorry.
BJP's
That was never
argument.
my argument was
BJP's
very clear to
argument.
you.
You can't disown what your party is saying, na, Neoma. You
I'm
have
not
to-
disowning, but
take-
you're
you
not
have to
letting me
take it.
speak.
Yeah,
No, I'm
right?
so- I
I
told
can
you
I have those
whatever-
pictures, please? Can I please request our producers? Okay, we are getting it's. Okay, it'll come in another 15 seconds, I'm told. Okay, thank you.
That's
Go
absolutely
ahead.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, my point is wherever there are any lacunas or loopholes or flags which are coming, our government is taking charge. Our government has been at it since the word go, and we are continuously doing it. Okay, so just, when I tell you about the steps, you guys don't listen to it, but anyway, like just on December 20th, 64,000 inspections were conducted for violations of constructions and demolition norms. Okay, 10,000 more, much more than what has ever happened. Fine worth 6.7 crores have been imposed. So many number of increase in challans, like literally about 399%. So we are doing our enforcement steps and we will continue to do so. So all the steps which are happening through GRAP and other policy measures, every day there are meetings with the IIT Delhi in order to take scientific measures forward. So yes, whatever sting operations are called out, we are taking charge and we will ensure things like this do not happen. But we are dealing with a large population and all hands are on deck to ensure pollution is depleting on a daily
No, this
basis,
is
which will
such-
happen over a period
This
of
is
time.
such
What?
deja vu. This is such deja vu
Really?
because when Aam Aadmi Party was in power, they used to say,
हाँ.
हम क्या करें? हम तो instruction दे सकते हैं, Home Ministry सुनता नहीं है.
But
हम
we are
क्या
not
करें?
saying that.
हमें we are
But we
क्या
are
कर
not
सकते हैं?
saying
But the
that.
outcome is the
But
same.
Sonal,
No,
we
you
are
might
not
not
saying
be
that.
saying it, Neoma. The outcome is the same.
But
Aam
Sonal,
Aadmi
the
Party
outcome
or
cannot be
BJP
the same.
outcome is the same. AQI is the
Listen,
same.
you are
Flouting of
giving
rules on the roads are the same.
Please understand, you are showing just few places where it's flouted. What about all the places it's being endorsed and put into practice? Are you
That's
completely
not how
ignoring those
SITs
efforts?
work.
Are you completely like I'm just
That's
telling
not
you? I
an
just got the
argument,
data.
Neoma. Come on, you're better than that. You're better than that. You're better
I'm
than saying
way
that. Okay,
better
let me
than a
bring in
lot of
Anish.
things.
Yeah, let me
Acha.
bring in Anish to respond to you. Anish, go ahead.
Yeah.
Sonal, it is remarkable to watch the BJP in government because it seems like they want a pat on their back for doing their bare minimum. Your job is to govern. People have not elected you to office to come and say that, oh, kahin jagah nahi ho raha hai, par baki jagah ho raha hai, so please be happy. That's not the point. The point is you're failing at your job and failing miserably. And what do the numbers say? The numbers say that the MCD has only used 5% of the green funds allocated to it under the various green fund programs. What do the numbers say? That the MCD has only used 13.94 crores out of the 42.69 crores allocated under the National Clean Air Program. And what do the figures say in front of you? that the crowds are chanting AQI when the Delhi Chief Minister goes and meets Messi because the people have lost faith in this government. Because they are all talk, all bluster. None of these things are happening on the ground. If they were happening, you would see the results.
Okay.
Neoma,
Also, the
respond.
numbers say, thank you. Also, the numbers say that Delhi has 5245 buses as of today, 1868 are CNG, 3377 are EV. A new fleet of 1988 EV buses will be inducted. Also, the number says a legacy waste processing system whereby additional waste to energy capacity of 7,000 tons per day has been added. These are all numbers. Also, the number says that the DMRC has deployed 1980 e-auto at 44 metro stations, 360 more to be added. The number also says that closure directions issued to 1556 non-compliant industrial unit. Yes, I understand what perspective you're coming from, but you also have to understand we are here taking 10 years of legacy waste and working. We've just been given 10 months so far. You have to allow us a reasonable amount of time. Also, another point I'd like to say, when it comes to numbers, 64,000 inspections have been conducted for violation of construction and demolition norms, which has never
You
happened
repeated
before.
that number. Okay.
I'm
But the
repeating
problem
it from
is,
your
Anish,
the
perspective.
problem is
Anish,
the
I'll tell you
government
what.
does not
Listen to
understand
I'll
the
tell you what.
severity of this
Hear
problem.
the numbers.
No, we've
Sorry,
heard.
sir.
Okay, okay,
Please, sorry.
okay,
One
second.
second. Sorry,
One
sir.
second. One second.
One
I've heard
second.
you.
No,
You're
Sonal,
repeating your
one second
numbers now,
also.
Neoma.
Over here,
You're
no,
repeating
one
your
second,
numbers.
Sonal. 1 second. You said
You can't
I
say
want
that.
a
This is
pat.
my show. Hello. Excuse me,
Take
madam.
your show.
1 second.
You said I
1
deserve a
second.
pat on my back. I'm not
1
looking for a
second.
pat on my back. I'm looking for you to see work in the correct scientific progressive direction. That's what I'm looking at.
Okay, okay. So
Can I
let
just
me
add
just
one
put
point
things in
here?
perspective.
I think
Yeah, please. I'm coming to you,
one
Anish. I'm coming to you.
unfortunate
I'm
point.
coming to you. Are Baba,
Sure.
both of you are not listening. 1 second. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that nobody is expecting BJP, and let's be very clear about that. Nobody is expecting BJP to have a magic wand and clean it in 1 year or clean it in 10 months. But we would love to see a plan. We would love to see our environment minister, health minister come out and say, you know what, from October onwards, November onwards, this is what we are going to do to ensure that urgently in these winter months, this is how we take care of air. And then in the long run, we want, vehicular pollution to be, dealt in a particular manner. But I'm not seeing that plan. Where is the last data where you even know what your highest pollutants are? None of that is public. And when we ask the government, it says, "Arey, na, aap to piche pad gaye hain." When we ask the government, they say, "Arey, aap to matlab." Okay, but Anish has to. Anish had a question. Yeah.
No, Sonal, I think this is precisely the problem, right? I don't think the government understands the severity of the problem. You've been stabbed with a knife. You're dealing with a climate emergency and you're putting a band-aid on it. I agree. Are some steps being taken? Absolutely. But there is simply no acknowledgement of the scale of the crisis. These are too little, too late. These are steps that will not make a difference unless one, the government has a clear idea of polluting sources. Like you said, Sonal, we do not have a government endorsed study which says that X, Y, and Z are the causes of pollution in Delhi. Second, you need to be able to enforce the norms that you've been putting in place instead of saying that we cannot enforce them fully because there are always exceptions. And third, and most importantly, there need to be experts in the room. When Rekha Gupta goes and meets officials, who are the experts advising her? Because all I'm seeing are little mist towers that are being put up, the spraying of roads that is being done, and these are absolutely unscientific, bogus, hunkam bunkum solutions to a real crisis. I mean, this is a joke, and the joke's on us. The people laughing are laughing because the joke's on us.
Okay. Am I allowed?
Neoma, yes, please.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So just to tell you, every step which is happening on behalf of the Delhi government is happening with the detailed and expert plans of IIT. Okay, so it's not a bogus plan. Just to tell you in perspective, IIT is a very qualified organization according to me, and I hope that works for you too. So they are the ones who are the main consultants and helping the Delhi government in taking steps with the help of environmentalists in their panels. Having said that, when it comes to steps, if we were not doing corrective steps like mist sprays, continuous ambient air quality monitoring system being put, removing the potholes, which I think about 50,000, sorting the roadside, which has been, so nothing like this can happen just during the winter. It has to have happened over a little bit of a period of time. Increasing the green belt over
that
Delhi
the
area.
highest
Just 1 second.
pollutant,
Increasing
the
the
highest
green belt, yeah,
pollutant, the
Ravali's are
highest
being
chunk,
destroyed.
the highest chunk of pollutants are vehicles. You understand
can
that,
I-
right?
Okay,
We
so
know that we
we-
have to do something
Okay.
about vehicular pollution.
Okay,
You know
so
that you have to move industries out of Delhi. This is what
And that
experts
is why,
every day are
Sonal,
telling us. I'm sure they're telling you the same
yes,
thing.
and that
What
is
is
why
happening on that?
Okay, so when it comes, so should we go step by step? Let's go to the
Yes,
transport
tell me
one.
on vehicular pollution.
Okay, I'll tell you on, and this time you listen to me like you didn't listen to me last time.
Chalo,
We
I'll
have
listen.
increased the budget of the to like 12,950 crores, added 1350 new e-buses, carried out road rationalization, brought back U-buses in after decades, increased the number of e-autos, e-shuttles, heavy metro expansion, which I explained to you last time. Like for example, in the Prastha, 12.38 kilometers, Lajpat Nagar, 21 kilometers, added metro lines and RRTS boost to the NCR connectivity. Okay, now you're going step by step. Let's go to construction. What we've done, systematic, high-tech, strict enforcement of dust control norms with clear compliance systems, remote sensors of PM 2.5, PM 10, video fencing, public compliance boards at site, closure directions to 1556 non-compliant industrial units. I am talking figures directly, which is happening. What is the third problem? Garbage. MCD, increased process of excavating and processing legacy waste capacity from 15,000 to 25,000 tons per day. There is a new accelerated flattening target. For example, Okhla by 2026, Balsava by December 26, Ghazipur by December 27. Delhi's first waste to compress biogas plant inaugurated in October 25. It will process 100 tons of municipal solid waste per day and generate 4 tons of gas. When it comes to one more very important fact, which is roads. Okay, because we all know potholes, etc., accumulate a lot of dust. We've known that. We have worked on 50,000 potholes. We've repaired 2,650 roadsides. In the last decade, roads and highways built by the centers, for example, the
You've been
Delhi-Mumbai
speaking
Expressway.
breathlessly for 2 minutes now and nobody's
Because I am
interrupted.
going to give you numbers when you are
Yes.
asking me exact details.
Yes.
I'm talking
and I
to
will
you
keep
about like
telling
the
you.
eastern.
And let me tell you, Neoma, since, okay, those pictures are, by the way, on your screen. The first sting operation where everything that you were talking about on buses and giving heaters, etc., all of that we again saw in the sting operation. Nothing was happening. My answer is very simple. You can quote numbers. I can ask you, okay, how much of an increase it is from last time? When you will say metro, I will say, of course, it was not built in a day. These plans were made earlier. All you're doing is expanding.
So, Sonal, what do you
when
want
you
to
will
hear?
say,
What do you want to
say
hear?
that,
When you
I
ask
want
me
to,
questions,
my question is very simple. My way to evaluate that is not to confuse the audience. It's very simple. If all these measures were working, if all these measures were working, AQI would have been better.
Because as you said,
which it's
Rome was not built on in a night. When these steps are kicking in, it takes time, Sonal. It takes time. You are carrying so much of legacy waste and liability when it comes to
Okay, I have to let Anish come in now because I have to wrap up and you've spoken for far too long.
Rome was
Okay,
not built in
Anish.
a night
Anish.
for cause or
I have
effect.
three.
Okay.
I have three very simple points, Sonal. The first is that when it comes to transport, the fact is that this government has not been able to improve last mile connectivity, and there's no point of expanding that metro access and expanding all of these sort of access points when your BS sort of 6 norms are not being followed even by auto rickshaws or buses inside the city. The last real measure that was taken for national bus mobility improvement was the Jawaharlal Nehru National Urban Mobility Program. You need a project of that scale. Buses in the lakhs, not in the thousands. Again, I keep saying we don't understand the scale of this problem. A few thousand more buses in Delhi will not solve any of this. The second problem is that, of course, garbage is a challenge, but garbage is not nearly contributing to the same extent to air pollution. So just having ministers going onto garbage heaps and taking photo opportunities is not going to solve air pollution. The third and most important issue, which is polluting industries. Multiple reports have highlighted how basic sort of pollution norms are not followed by polluting industries, where their chimneys are releasing vast amounts of pollutants into the air. So spraying the roads is fine, but dust is not PM 2.5. Dust is PM 10. That's not going to cause nearly as much harm as PM 2.5, which is coming from pollutants that are invisible. So this government is unfortunately not listening to the experts. And I feel bad for anybody at IIT Delhi who's advising this government, because unfortunately, I can guarantee you that any silent scientific advice is falling on deaf ears.
All right, we have to leave it there, Anish
I'm
and
so sorry,
Neoma, for joining us
okay.
for that. And, you know, the sad part is, and what my fear is, that every time we have a conversation on pollution, It starts in October, November, it picks up. Now we're at the end of the year, another month, and then when the sun is bright out, we'll all forget about it, including the government. And that's the worry. And next year, we'll be back with the same cycle, with the same questions, with the same set of people, and sadly with the same government, which doesn't seem to be taking this any seriously at all, or at least on the face of it is not offering solutions. It's Health O'Clock, and we've got the latest health updates here for you, starting with weight loss injections. Now, obesity has been the buzzword all of 2025. You've seen celebrity lose weight dramatically, and silently in India, in abroad, well, they went on to talk about weight loss drugs, GLP-1, skinny pens, call them what you want. But now the next generation of GLP-1 is here. Move aside injections, the first ever GLP-1 oral pill just got FDA approval. And this is a big deal because till now, if you wanted the powerful GLP-1 weight loss drug, you needed a needle. But not anymore. The US FDA has cleared a daily pill version of Wegovy made by Novo Nordisk, the same drug, remember, that has the active ingredient of semaglutide, just without the injection this time. So what does this actually mean for you and how effective are they? So far, GLP-1 drugs like Wegovy, Ozempic have been weekly injections. This new pill does the same job, basically curbing appetite, slowing down digestion, helping with metabolic control, but in a tablet form. Clinical data show that the pill works well, though injections still lead to slightly more weight loss. In simple terms, injections are a bit stronger, but the pill is far easier to sort of live with. But now let's talk about the cost here. In the US, the company says the starting dose of the pill will cost less than the injectable Wegovy. There were some unconfirmed reports that said about $150. But the higher doses will cost more, and insurance coverage is still a big question, remember, just like it is with injections. The pill is expected to hit US market in early 2026. But here's why, and in fact, what we need to know here in India. GLP-1 injections are already hugely popular here. Despite the price, doctors are prescribing them widely for obesity and for diabetes. In fact, Mounjaro, made by Eli Lilly, is already amongst the highest selling drugs globally, and the demand in India has been strong ever since the launch. It's sort of sold more than Dolo, some estimates said, but not in terms of volume, remember, in terms of the price that they extract actually. That tells you how badly people want solutions that actually work, and they want to be, fitter and not be fat anymore. However, injections are expensive, long-term, and intimidating for many patients. That's why the pill changes the conversation completely. Will Indians get this pill anytime soon? Not very soon, but FDA approval doesn't mean it lands in Indian pharmacies tomorrow. It will see, it will still need to get clearance from India's drug regulator, and the pricing will be decided, thereafter. If it's priced like the injections, access will remain limited. But, one more thing over this is the fact that 2026 will be dominated by more weight loss pills. Competition there is heating up. Eli Lilly is working on its own GLP-1 weight loss pill, which is already in late stage trials and is expected to go to US regulators by the summer of 2026. More pills are in the pipeline usually means competition and eventually pressure on prices. So what does it mean for you and I? Well, weight loss treatment is moving beyond injection. Pills are coming, but these are not lifestyle shortcuts or cosmetic fixes. Cannot underline this enough. Let me say it again. These are not lifestyle shortcuts or cosmetic fixes. They are powerful medical drugs that need long-term use, medical supervision, and responsible prescribing. For India, the real question isn't just when the pill arrives, it's who will be able to afford it. Will it reach those who need it the most, or will it land up with all the wrong people for all the wrong reasons? That is up to the drug controller and the government to see. Meanwhile, in other news coming in from health, this time from UK, the sharp surge that has been seen in the influenza cases driven by H3N2 super flu strain is putting unprecedented pressure on the hospitals across United Kingdom, where ahead of the Christmas season, health authorities reported more than 3,100 flu-related hospital admission daily, levels not seen since COVID-19 pandemic. The outbreak is linked mainly to the fast spread of H3N2, the subclad over there, with activity arriving earlier and stronger than in typical seasons. Officials are now urging vaccination and caution as healthcare services struggle to cope up with rising demand that's happening in UK. All right, moving on to some more news, and this time, this is digital detox. It's that time of the year, no, where we're all making resolutions. Maybe this next story from Karnataka will inspire you to make yours this year. Because in Karnataka, at the Belgaum district, one village is taking an unusual step to fight screen addiction. Every evening, televisions and mobile phones are switched off. So even our shows can't play there. Mandatorily by community rule. All this to ensure that you get some time off screens. How exactly is it taking place? And that too, not in an urban center, but inside a village, the Halga village. Take a look for yourself.
In a first-of-its-kind initiative, Karnataka's Halga village has declared a mandatory digital detox. For 2 hours every evening, televisions go silent and mobile phones are switched off, making way for books, conversations, and family bonding. A siren at 7 p.m. signals the start of the no-screen period. Another at 9 p.m. marks its end. The initiative is called No TV, No Mobile, Just Study and Conversation. And it is inspired by a similar model in Maharashtra. This initiative aims to reduce excessive screen time, especially among students.
हमारे गांव में भूंगा चालू किया, हमको बहुत अच्छा लगा. हम एक दिन अभ्यास करते थे और 1 तास में उठते थे, लेकिन अब नहीं. अब हम भूंगा चालू किया तो हम 7 से 9 अब पढ़ाई कर रहे हैं.
Residents say the benefits go beyond academics, as the initiative allows families to spend quality time together. Parents step away from screens every evening and engage more with their children.
बच्चों लोग इधर उधर नहीं घूमते, इधर उधर नहीं जाते, और ये गांव के उपक्रम से, पंचायत से जो उपक्रम दिया है वो बहुत अच्छा हुआ है. सब लोग, सब स्टूडेंट अभी अभ्यास कर रहे हैं. इसका परिणाम 80% गांव में हो रहा है, और ये कर्नाटक में पहला गांव है ऐसा कि जो स्क्रीन फ्री है 2 आवर्स. इसलिए हमको ये अच्छा लगा, और भविष्य में बच्चों के लिए अपना भविष्य सुधारने के लिए अच्छा हो रहेगा.
The initiative has received strong community support, and rightly so. With no penalties, only participation, residents are voluntarily creating a disciplined and distraction-free environment. Halga's digital detox has emerged as a beacon for communities grappling with screen overuse, and it could now serve as a model for the rest of the country too. With Nagarjun Dwarkanath, Bureau Report, India Today.
What else is baffling? Well, the contrast of weather that we have in the country. In Delhi, we speak about AQI. In other major metros, we speak about AQI. But if you are anywhere in the hills, well, this is the time to be there. Because it's white, it's scenic, it's like a dream right now. While Delhi and its citizens count to live in toxic chamber, weather gods are being very, very favorable in other parts of North India. Several cities in Jammu and Kashmir received their first spell of snow as well. So it's going to be a white Christmas over there. But on your screens, you have visuals from Gurez, you have Baramulla, and you have Kashmir as well. Let's just live in those visuals for a while.